at the farmers market, we're doing cooking demonstrations for adults, and we're here to get them to taste new fruits and vegetables and learn different ways of cooking the things that they might find locally at the farmers markets. Welcome to the farmers market, everybody. My name is Laura. I'm going to be your educator today, and this is Diana, your bilingual educator.
Buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos al mercado de agricultores. Ella es Laura, va a ser la educadora de hoy, y yo soy Diana, voy a ser la traductora.
So today we're going to cook you a really delicious recipe, butternut squash and collard greens, and we're also going to be talking about food waste. And the whole workshop is going to take about 20 to 25 minutes. Here at the farmers market, we practice voice by choice, which means no one's going to be called on, but we would love for you to share your thoughts and opinions, so please feel free to share them.
La participación es voluntaria, nadie está obligado a participar, pero nos encantaría escuchar sus opiniones y sus preguntas, o siéntanse libres de informarnos.
And if you stay to the end of the workshop and fill out a survey, you get a $2 health buck coupon.
Y por último, se queda hasta el final del taller, le vamos a dar un cupón de $2 para frutas y verduras del mercado de agricultores.
Let's talk about food waste for a little bit. How often does food go to waste in your home, and why?
You make too much food.
When you make too much food?
You
Yeah.
end up throwing it away.
So why is it important to reduce food waste? When you're wasting food, you're wasting a lot of valuable resources. Thinking of all the steps food takes to get to your plate through the processing and the traveling. And then if you throw it away, it also takes resources to even dispose of it. So we're saving the environment by saving our food. And it also saves money for you and increases the food for you and your family. How can we reduce food waste at home? Freeze your leftovers. Great.
She's sharing that in her house, she saves it for the next day. She reheats it, but makes a different dish with it.
For our recipe today, we need collard greens
Para la receta vamos a empezar utilizando berza,
and butternut squash.
calabacín,
We're going to be using red bell peppers and onions.
y también tenemos el pimientón rojo y la cebolla blanca.
Great. And like I said, we scrubbed all of the ingredients, even the ingredients that we're not going to be eating the skin of, like the onions. And for this recipe, I took the leaves off the stem, like so. And I'm not using the stem, but do you think you could? Yeah. Eating the whole plant is a really great way to reduce food waste. First, I'm going to start cooking our onions and bell peppers. I'm using just a tiny little bit of oil, and I'm going to cook them on very high heat to add some extra caramelization and flavor. Our star ingredient today is the butternut squash or honey nut squash. What are your favorite ways to cook butternut squash at home?
¿Cuáles son sus formas favoritas de preparar la calabaza en la casa?
Baked? I heard someone say baked. There's so many different ways that you can cook butternut squash. So today we're just going to cook it on the stovetop. So I'm going to show you how to break down the butternut squash. And I have a really small one right here, but this also works for the very large ones as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off the top and the bottom.
So va a empezar cortándole la parte de arriba y ahora la parte de abajo.
And then, since it's really like two different types of vegetables the way you cut it, I'm just going to cut off the neck from like the round area. Then when I'm cutting like the neck of the butternut squash, I have now a nice flat surface to cut, and I'm just going to cut long kind of planks.
Como pueden ver, el beneficio de eso es que la superficie es plana y le va a facilitar cortarlo en formas largas.
And then, once I have my planks, I'm going to lay them flat, cut them into strips, turn them sideways, and then just cut them into tiny little dices. What are some ways that you can get your kids to help out with this recipe in the kitchen?
So, mientras usted corta la calabaza de invierno, ¿cómo puede involucrar a los niños en la cocina? Si tiene niños en casa.
Washing it?
Great.
Wash
Washing it. The more they help out in the kitchen with the new fruits and vegetables, they're more likely to try them, right? And one thing, if you'll notice, we didn't peel the butternut squash. Can anyone tell me why we don't peel the butternut squash and other winter squashes when we cook them?
Porque ahí está la vitamina. All right, because the vitamins.
Yeah, vitamins. It also adds fiber. And it also, two of my favorite reasons, it saves time. And it also saves money because you're not throwing those peels away in the trash. One thing I always like to do with the seeds is scoop them out, and then I like to roast them. You can save all the different types of winter squash seeds and roast them, like pumpkins, acorn squash, any of them. Our recipe, I think, is just about ready. It smells, can you guys smell it?
Lo
It smells
pueden
really
oler?
good to me.
Huele delicioso, ¿no? Smells delicious.
Yeah. If you have any allergies to any of these ingredients, please don't taste the recipe today.
Does it taste yummy?
It tastes yummy. It
tastes yummy.
While we're passing out the recipe, remember we made this whole recipe here at the farmer's market with no fancy equipment or fancy ingredients, really. With all in the time it took for us to have a little conversation. If you look at the chart up here, you can see that the recipe per serving, I believe, is less than $1. So what do you think about the recipe? Do you like it?
Yes, it is good.
Yes. ¿Qué les parece la receta? ¿Buena?
Yes, it is good.
¿Está buena?
What would you add or change or do differently at home?
¿Qué le añadirían o qué harían en casa distinto con la receta?
Porque se le echa un poquito de ajo para darle un tonito también.
I would add purple cabbage and
Ajo.
mushrooms.
Purple cabbage and mushrooms, which would add a lot of different colors too. So remember, by reducing food waste, it saves you money, it increases fruits and vegetables for you and your family, and it also helps to save the environment.